So one of the first stitches we learn, apart from the chain stitch, is the double crochet. So first of all we want to make our slip knot. And here is another way that I do a slip knot. I'm holding the short piece in my left hand and I wrap the yarn twice around my finger. I'm holding the yarn between my fingers and I'm keeping tension on here. I pull the loop that is on the left over and off, pick up the long piece again, wrap the yarn over again, grab the left piece, pull it over and off and push up. I now have my slip knot. What we want to do is start some chains. So we're going under our yarn and our hook is going under and our yarn is going over. So this can be called yarn over or abbreviated YO. So what you're going to do is you're twisting your hook with your right hand and pulling through that first stitch, which is making our chain. So hook is going under, yarn is going over, pulling through our stitch. Yarn over, hook's under, I'm twisting my hook so it grabs that yarn and then pulling through. So keep going until you've got about 10. Doesn't matter how many we start with because this is just going to be our practice to practice doing our double crochet stitch. It can also be abbreviated by DC. Maybe a capital D and a capital C, or it could be lowercase as well. So I think I've got about 10. Doesn't really matter how many we have because like I said it's just a practice. So when you count your chains you're counting the V's. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and I've got 12. We never count the loop that is on our hook. So to do our first part of our double crochet we want to go into the second chain from the hook. And here is our first one because that is our first V. And this is our second one, that's our second V. So keeping your attention, we're going to go into the second stitch. So we're not counting the one on our hook. This is our first V, this is our second V. So that's our second stitch. We're going under the loop there, going through, going underneath the yarn is going over top, pulling through that first loop. We've got 2 on our hook, pulling through. So we grabbed our yarn, we've yarned over and we're going through 2 stitches. You've just created your first double crochet. So for our second stitch we're going to go into the next chain. And how do we know where it is? This one here has already got a stitch into it. Can you see that you've got a stitch into that first chain? So our next one is our next V. So going there, just going under the one loop. So going into your next stitch, you're going to go into that stitch there, you're going to yarn over, so your hook's gone under, yarn's gone over. Twisting your hook, pulling through that very first stitch. You've got 2 on your hook. You're going to go yarn over, hook's gone under, twisting it around and then pulling through 2 loops on your hook. You've just completed another double crochet. Going into the next stitch and we're going to repeat this all the way to the end. So we're yarning over, hook's gone underneath like that. You've twisted your hook around to grab hold of it. You've got 2 on your hook, yarning over and pulling through 2. You're going to go into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over, so the hook has gone underneath like so. Grab the yarn like that, pulling through. You're going to yarn over, grabbing the yarn and pulling through 2. So repeat this all the way across. I won't keep talking, otherwise you're going to get sick of my voice. And I'll try and do it as slow as I can so that you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. And then we come up to our last chain here, so we're going into the space, into the stitch, and then completing it like so. Now how do we go up to our next row? With our double crochet we do one chain, so yarning over, pulling through to do our chain stitch, and then you turn your work around. Doesn't matter which way you turn it, as long as when you've turned it your work is facing your left hand side. This if you're right handed, of course. And to do our next row we always skip this first stitch, because it doesn't matter how many chains we've done on whatever stitch we're on and we're using, the chaining always counts as our first stitch. So our first stitch is here. So we don't go into that one because we ignore that one because it's our chain is our first stitch. We're going into the next one. And what you'll find is there's like a little divot, and you're going to go into there and you're going to go under two loops. You've got one there and one there. Now you can do one loop, but that's another lesson, that's further down the track. So you're going to go under both loops, then you're going to yarn over, and hook's gone under, pull through, and we're going to complete our stitch as normal. So we're going to yarn over and go through two. So then our next stitch is here. You're going to go through, and it's going to go through two loops. You're going to have two loops at the top here. So you're going under that V that we had on our chain. So we're going to yarn over, pull through a loop, yarn over, pull through two. So when you look at the top of the stitching here, there's more of those V's. See those V's there? That's what we're going under. So we're going under the V's that are there. So we're yarning over, hook's gone under, pulling through, pulling up a loop, there's two, then yarning over, and then pulling through two. So we're going to repeat this all the way across. You're going to go into that next stitch, pull through a loop, and then pull through two, into the next stitch, and we're just going to work our way all the way across again, going into each stitch, and when we get to the end we always have this stitch. It is going to be the chain stitch from the previous row, and what you're going to do is go into the end, try and go under both loops. It is harder to do when we use this double crochet stitch. It is a lot easier when we use a treble stitch because our chain stitches stands out a lot more, because on this one we've only got one stitch on the end. So going into the last stitch, you're just going to put it through the chain stitch that we have there, and like I said, it is hard to see. It's just on the end here, it'll stick out. Going into that, trying to go under two loops. If you can only get one, it's okay, it won't matter, it won't be the end of the world, but try and get two if you can. So then just completing your stitch as normal, and then you chain one to go up to your next row, and you repeat that on every single row. So I hope yours looks pretty good. Don't forget, I have done this for 10 years, so my attention is pretty good. Well, I hope it is. I think it is. It's pretty good. So if yours is all loose and holy, it doesn't matter. It will get better, trust me. When I first started, mine was an absolute disaster. But practice makes perfect. So I hope you guys enjoyed that quick video. Make sure you check out the rest of the videos and improve on your skills. And don't worry, with lots of practice, you will have it in no time. Till next time, happy crochet!